From baseball to apple pie to bomb. Waco, Texas, Heaven's Gate to Oklahoma bomb. The Desert Storm Syndrome experiment that went wrong. Inject our own.
All right, y'all. It's AntiwarRadio. I'm Scott. Antiwar.com senior editor Jeremy Sapienza is in the place. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Let me make sure and turn you up nice and loud here. You know, it's funny. Whenever I think you always picture Chris D'Eliso, because I know what he looks like. I have a picture of him on my website from an old interview, and so whenever I think Jeremy Sapienza, I always picture Chris D'Eliso. But now I actually know what you look like in 3 dimensions and things. There he is, everybody. Well, you can't see him, but I can. Yeah, no, I'm really happy to have you here, man. This is cool. I'm glad you came to L.A. for a little while. So let's talk about Iraq, man. Obviously, I walk around with a chip on my shoulder all day and night over this, but just this week it's driven me to the edge of sanity. After all this, the American people have deemed the Iraq War a success, and they're proud of themselves for mongering it, and it's great. Well, tell us about the American involvement in this, because it's very interesting to me in its own silly little smaller context that they really seem to have said across the propaganda. It was honest. At the same time, it was lying all week last week. We're leaving 50,000 troops. War's over. They didn't lie about the 50,000 troops at all, even on TV. They're like, yeah, 50,000 troops, but the war's over.
Right. Well, you just call them advise and assist, and not combat troops. They've been the same troops are holding guns. They're still walking around. They're still, as I recently said in a piece that I wrote, because Wikipedia declared the war over, that they're just because they're redefined doesn't mean that they're not there. They may nominally be backing up, quote, Iraqi troops, but come on, I mean, who are we kidding? Iraqi troops are going to take the lead in anything?
Didn't American soldiers die in a combat mission
yesterday? Well, no, not a combat mission. An Iraqi soldier shot them dead on base.
Oh.
Yes.
War's over. It's all good. Over. Yeah, it's amazing the ability of to do the doublethink. I mean, there was a point, wasn't there, when the Democrats took both houses of Congress by like more than a dozen seats in the House or something back in 2006? Because why? Because the American people hated the Iraq War and they wanted something done about it.
And all you got to do is they declared it over.
Yeah. So, well, let's talk about this Wikipedia thing, because you got a piece published in the newspaper about the fight that went on at Wikipedia over whether the war was over or not, and really kind of how the technology, the platform of Wikipedia made for an entirely different set of circumstances than the kind of thing that we were reading in the newspaper last week.
Right. What happened was that the way Wikipedia works is that there are dominant editors. So anybody can go in and edit something, but if it's being watched closely enough, a dominant editor will go in and change it back immediately. So if you vandalize something and it's a prominent article like Iraq War, say, then the editor is going to change it right back. So the dominant editors allowed somebody to declare that, per Obama, the war was over, and it had the end date is August 19th, 2010. So immediately, this is what's great about Wikipedia, is that there's a discussion area, and people immediately started taking them to task for that, saying the war isn't over, and even Petraeus and various other generals are. So one of them literally said, I even have a quote right here, I don't think anybody has declared the end of the war as far as I know. Pentagon Press Secretary Jeff Morrell. So, people were in the discussion area talking about this and haranguing the editors until finally they changed it, and they said that August 19th was the end of Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Right, now it's Operation New Dawn.
Now it's Operation New Dawn.
Now it's Operation You Live Under the Rule of the Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani, and you'll like it, because we call it liberation for you. There you go.
Yeah, I actually, I wrote the piece about it, and it went into print newspaper, so that's kind of static, so it doesn't allow it to be updated. They've changed it further, actually. Now it just says the last U.S. combat brigade left Iraq on August 19th.
Well, that was kind of the point that you were making in the Dead Tree media was, you guys got it wrong, and then it went to print. Wikipedia got it wrong, and the people pushed back and fixed it. And that's why you're going out of business and being replaced by Wikipedia. It ain't because the editors aren't on the side of the president. They clearly are. It's just that doesn't help them win. Or it's not enough. And
the users push back, whereas, once you print something, it goes into people's minds, and that's the end of it. There's no pushback.
Well, my friend Bianca Oblivion from Chaos Radio posted a thing on my Facebook page last week. It's on there right now about some new study that came out that said the more people get their information from the internet, the less legitimacy they give government, the less benefit. I mean, it was across the board. It was pretty. I wish I had the file in front of me here, because the numbers and the way the questions were phrased, the way the explanation was given was, like this is a crisis of legitimacy for states everywhere.
Terrible.
That people who can see the internet are seeing right through what they would have us believe. I mean, even from the days of when we were kids, man, you had Jennings, Rather, and Brokaw, and if you're really wise, you go watch Jim Lehrer and old McNeil, whatever his first name was, right? McNeil Lehrer. That's it.
Yeah.
That was it. And your Sunday morning shows on the same channels.
Yep. They got their pipeline straight from the Pentagon or whoever. On whatever subject, they got the official story, and that was reported, and that was a news, period. There were no other. I mean, maybe you could pick up a left-wing, monthly or semi-annual somewhere and get a different point of view, but that was it. And now we have literally millions of points of view, possibly billions.
Well, and look, we got Antiwar.com. And, this is a whole part of the story. In fact, there's a great Bill Moyers piece called Buying the War, all about the media going for the nonsense about Iraq and then pushing it on us. And he really focuses on Warren Strobel and Jonathan Landay at what was then Knight Ritter's that got bought out. They now both write for McClatchy. And how, because these guys are sort of, no offense, guys, you understand the context. They're the losers of American media, right? They're lousy, piddly little Knight Ritter. And so there was no paper even in D.C. that published Knight Ritter's stories. It used to be the Star, which is now gone. And so you have UPI at the Washington Times, and then you got the Washington Post, and that's it. Yep. And so their stories were not seen inside the Beltway, but you know where they were? You put them there, Jeremy. They ran at the top of Antiwar.com all through 2002. CIA agent says this is all a bunch of crap by Jonathan Landay. Blam. It's top headline. Doesn't matter if it's page 34 in even the Knight Ritter papers. It's the top headline at Antiwar.com, and that's why at Chaos Radio, myself and Shauna Kay got it right from February, March 2002, when the show got going, all the way through the beginning of the war. We had Antiwar.com, and you guys were going everywhere in the world for the choicest stories and putting them in the proper order that they belong, not in the Washington Post editor's thing. And hey, that was 8 years ago. We are the ones getting this done.
Yeah, I mean that's what we do all day, is sift through these and decide what's going to be the most important thing. And McClatchy and previously Knight Ritter. Yep.
And no question, you and Matt and Jason and Eric have good taste in what's most important. We'll be right back, everybody.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Antiwar Radio. I'm Scott, and I'm hanging out with my friend Jeremy Sapienza. He's the senior editor at Antiwar.com. He works all week long for you and your brain's interests. And, one thing I want to talk to you about is Somalia, because you wrote a really great piece about this. I interviewed you about it before, and it's the kind of thing that if I had, a giant mallet to beat everyone in America over the head with, it would be Somalia and what you have to say about it, Jeremy. So why don't you tell them the story, man? We got 10 minutes for guess what?